Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Ask a Priest with some inspiration from Father Wilson with what he did a few weeks ago on vestments. I'm going to do a little bit of a multimedia presentation for you all today also. This Ask a Priest is actually a special one. One of our dedicated out-of-state members of Redeemer, Leanne Eason, asked a question on Facebook about the Redeemer Cross and the story behind the Redeemer Cross. What's up with the Redeemer Cross? And so I'm going to share that story with you and tell you all about the Redeemer Cross today on Ask a Priest, which is one of the cool things about Ask a Priest. We have plans on questions we're going to answer, but new questions can always come up, which is a lot of fun for us to go through those new questions. So I adjust my screen a little bit. So I want to talk about a couple things. If you have an interest in a lot of the beauty that is the nave and the narthex and the exterior and the sanctuary of the Church of the Redeemer, there's a great book that you can get from the gift shop called The Splendor of His Temple, which is a book that was put together years ago by several dedicated parishioners. Carl Stockton, Father Fred Robinson, Raul Elizalde are three that come to mind. And this book really goes through all of the beautiful art that makes up this church. And so to talk about the church a little bit, I wanted to mention something. One of the things that I hear often people say is, let's go into the sanctuary of the church. Well, the sanctuary of a church is just the section of the church that is behind the altar rail, where the altar is located. That is the sanctuary. And we have two sanctuaries, essentially, at Redeemer. We have this one in the chapel, behind the altar rail in the chapel, and one at the high altar, behind the altar rail. That is the sanctuary. The main body of the church, where the majority of our parishioners sit, is called the nave of the church. The area where the choir sits is called, guess what? The choir. And that's where they sit in the church. And so, and then the back of the church where we enter in, where we enter the church, is the narthex. Of course, the crossing that crosses by is the transept, and we have the baptistry and the chapel on each side of the church. So just a little bit of a vocabulary lesson for you all today. When you enter Redeemer, you are not entering the sanctuary. You enter the sanctuary when you go inside of the altar rail. So that is when you are kneeling at the rail, you are at the sanctuary of the church. Otherwise, you're either in the nave and in narthex, at the crossing, or in the choir, or in the baptistry or chapel. So that's just something you all could remember. The Redeemer Cross is a really cool history. It was imagined, developed, designed by one of the rectors of Church of the Redeemer, whose name is Paul Reeves. Paul Reeves left Redeemer to become the Bishop of Georgia. Paul did not have the cross created, but he did think of it. And the new rector, Father Tom Fitzgerald, is the one who, with the help of Irene Almeida Hope, had the cross made. Irene was the one who donated the money to get the cross made. So it's a gift from her. Like I said, the original design of the cross is from then rector Father Paul Reeves, who I said became the Bishop of Georgia. The cross was handmade by a man named Gilman Lansdale, and was actually carved and consecrated in our parish hall. The cross was erected during an interior remodeling of the church in the year 1964. I have heard stories from Father Fitzgerald that he's told me he's actually the one who went up there and hung that cross on the chains that it's hung on. And he was up on the scaffolding assisting and working hard, I'm sure, in hanging that cross. And it was always a great source of joy and happiness every time Father Fitzgerald saw that cross. The cross is shaped like a broad sword, the sword of the Spirit from Ephesians 6:17. The cross is fashioned from two solid pieces of American cherry wood. All the ornamentation on the cross is carved from the wood itself and is illuminated in gold leaf. So if you're wondering about some of the symbolism that is on the cross, we're going to go through that now. And I remember doing a class with our middle school students years ago, explaining all the imagery on the cross, which had to do with a tour of the church we did once, which was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do a virtual tour of the church someday, and we could walk through all the different areas of the church and take turns between the priests. So at the center of the Redeemer cross is the Crusader or the Jerusalem cross. So you guys are seeing that right now, and the Jerusalem cross is symbolic. It has 5 crosses on it, 1 in the middle and 4 on each side. And these 5 crosses are symbolic of the 5 wounds of Jesus. The Greek letters at the top of the cross are the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet, Alpha and Omega. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, from the book of Revelation. On the left of the Redeemer cross, Iota, Eta, and Sigma are the first 3 letters of the Greek spelling of Jesus. So that's Iota, Eta, and Sigma. And those are the first 3 letters of the Greek spelling of Jesus. So that stands for Jesus. The Alpha and the Omega, Jesus. At the right is a Chi Rho. And these are the first letters of the Greek spelling of Christ. So the cross, Jesus, Christ, the Alpha and the Omega, and in the middle of the cross, the representation of the crucifixion and Jesus' 5 wounds. Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. Jesus, Christ. So you could actually read the cross. At the bottom of the cross are the Greek letters ICXC, and below them NIKA, which stands for Jesus Christ, Conqueror. So the Greek letters at the bottom, ICXC, Jesus Christ, and Nika, Nika, meaning conqueror or victor. So they read together as Jesus Christ, Victor. It is, the Redeemer cross is probably the most replicated symbol we have at Redeemer. It is indeed included on the Celtic cross that we now have in front of the church, carved in stone. And so it's a real matching of our Scottish heritage, given that we were one of our founding members was John Hamilton Gillespie, and the Scots had a big deal in founding Sarasota. And the tradition of the Redeemer cross mixed together into a Celtic Redeemer cross, which is quite beautiful if you haven't had a chance to see it. Also, the Redeemer cross is available in a jewelry form in various sizes for purchase at the Redeemer gift shop. So if you are interested in owning your own Redeemer cross that you could wear with you, you can get in touch with the gift shop and order one, and they'll send it to you. And it comes in silver or gold or yellow gold, white gold, all those sorts of things. And I think 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. So I don't think they have a supersized one, but I have seen some supersized ones hung on walls around the building. So that is kind of the story and the background of the Redeemer cross. And again, if you're really interested in a lot of the art and symbolism that we see here at Church of the Redeemer, this is a great book to pick up. You will be able to read about all the art and all the different things that we have here at Redeemer. It'll show you the way that the church used to look and all sorts of beautiful things like that. It'll talk about our ironwork, the symbols. It'll even show you some of the spots where there are hidden symbols that you don't get to see regularly, and you get to see really old pictures of the church when it used to have ivy hanging on it like this. So this is really a wonderful book to pick up if you don't have one. Um, Let us know, and you could purchase one from the gift shop, or we'll send you one. I hope you all had a great evening this evening, learning more about the Redeemer Cross and a little bit about the art and the beauty that we have here at Church of the Redeemer. And I'll see you next time on either Tell Me More, the Rector's Class, or Ask a Priest. God bless you guys. Good night.